Hi, and welcome to the Unnamed Reverse Engineering Podcast. I'm Jen Castillo, and with me is Alvaro.
Hello.
And today with us, we have Nathan Emerick. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, how do we want to get started here?
We didn't laugh.
Yeah, well,
we
here we
totally
go.
didn't laugh.
So I'll just start with how I met you really quick, and then you can tell us a little bit about yourself. But I met Nathan at the Teardown conference, which is a cross supply conference. I guess I don't know if you did, Jen, because you were there as well. I saw you were in a panel chat with some really big names. And I thought you'd be an awesome guest. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into all your projects.
Yeah, I mean, as mentioned, Nathan Emerick and I have been basically working on DeskThing, which is TLDR. It's like an open source software. We're going to be digging into it today. Just a little bit about myself. I've just been loving developing and coding and just exploring this world of open source over the last couple of weeks, or couple of years. Sorry. Yeah, small difference
Why
there.
not?
Time really flies.
I mean, it feels like weeks and it feels like 2 lifetimes. But yeah, I've just been I always struggle with about yourselves. So
Don't worry, everybody does. It's cool.
Yep. Yeah, I need a
So,
couple more
I'm
networking
assuming-
events.
Yeah, just a couple more and you got it rehearsed and well lubricated. So I'm assuming this happened on Sunday because while I was at Teardown, I didn't really attend Sunday. Is that correct?
Yes, it was
Or was it-
Sunday afternoon-ish. I
Yeah,
believe is
okay.
what happened.
Yeah.
So I'll say
explains
some of
everything.
your co-panelists were Kari Doctorow, Bunny Huang,
And Kyle.
Kyle, the CEO of iFixit.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty stacked panel. It was pretty great.
Wow.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, I totally missed out.
Unfortunately, no one else is going to see it because it was off the record. So that's as much as you're going to hear.
I have the one selfie that Kyle took from like in front of everyone with all of us in it. It was like, that's it.
Oh, nice.
That's the documentation. It's a cool picture, but it's like, yeah. It was fun. When they reached out to me, were like, "Hey, do you want to be on this panel?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's a small panel. I was the first one listed on the site. I was like, "Okay, this little panel that's like off the record, right to repair, not much." And just over the next week, they slowly started adding everyone else, and it was like, "Oh, okay, that person's kind of big. Oh, that person's also like, oh," and then they dropped one person who was a random like employee of iFixit, and then added Kyle. I was like, "Oh."
The fact that the CEO was just like he was in a booth. He was working the booth at Teardown. It was so cool. We got to chat.
Yeah.
I'm actually holding their new soldering iron, but I'm a big fan of all the work they're doing for right to repair and open hardware.
Yep. Is that the portable one? I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's a USB Type C soldering iron,
Yep.
but it's got changeable. It's actually running Zephyr. I found it because you can plug in. I plugged it into my computer, and it's got a terminal, and I was like, "That's a Zephyr console, and you can change settings and measure things."
I don't remember that being on the list when they because you know how they're collecting the list. No, it's fine. No, that's exactly
what. Anyway,
okay. So we have a guest. We should talk. He's like very politely like, "What the hell?"
No, it's cool. I mean, I got to talk to Kyle about I guess we're doing a plug of something, but he was talking through all that. It's like, oh, yeah, it's awesome.
And so now you're friends. We are expecting a new book to come out. We're probably, I guess, also expecting something from Crowd Supply and a book. That was my assumed takeaway from that off the record.
Actually, let's go into what is the Spotify CarThing, which is kind of the reason you were there, and then what got you started in that project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of like diving into like what the CarThing even is. I assume. Just
yeah. Yeah, what
Yeah,
is it? What is the
yeah.
Spotify? What is
So the Spotify CarThing, I mean, everyone I would hope knows Spotify, basically just the streaming service. And one day they decided, hey, people like listening to our music. What if we made it easier to listen in your car? So they made the software to fill a hole that was rapidly shrinking, which is listening to music in your car in cars that don't have CarPlay. So this came out, started development in like I'm going to butcher this, but like 2018, 2017, back when CarPlay was less standard everywhere. And so they released this device, and this device basically gave you physical controls. I can show it here, even though the audio listeners can't see it, just so we know what we're looking at.
Yeah, we'll put pictures, or we'll link to pictures in the show notes.
Oh, cool.
It kind of looks like yeah.
Yeah, it
Just
kind of looks like a
basically
small phone with like a big wheel
Yeah.
on it.
yeah, I was gonna say it looks it reminds me a little bit of the portable, like the faceplates that you would pull off for the Sirius XM radios that you would maybe put in aftermarket.
But yeah,
Very
look
similar
at
to that.
pictures online.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. That's not a bad way
Yeah.
to put it.
I'm assuming it has a color screen though, at least.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're looking at a one that's on.
Yep. I have one that's running on my computer. I was working on it earlier today, actually. So they made this device and they released it to. I find this amusing. Their main way of marketing this device was via email. They have their platform with billions of users, and they choose to send it via email to primary like Spotify Premium users. And they're like, all right, who wants to buy this? In the weirdest way possible, but several people did, and then they did multiple marketing runs in order to get this into people's hands. We don't know like how many they sold, but they sold a pretty good amount. I think a couple years later, they ended up saying, "Hey, we actually don't like this. We're going to stop making them. We'll still support them, don't worry, but we're done making them." So they dropped the price from $90 down to $30, and that'll be important in a sec. So like started at 90, dropped down to 30, and then off the market entirely. So that's when I got into it. I got into it because it was $30. I was like, "That's a cool device. I'm going to
Why
get
not?
that $30, sure." So I got it. Had it, used it in my car. It was great all the way up until last year around, I want to say May, June-ish is when they sent out this tiny little blog post. Barely got any traction at first, and like clearly trying to sneak this to people. Said, hey, so end of this year, we're going to just kill all of them. Sorry about that, but can you please dispose of it responsibly?
So just like remotely brick, basically, or non-specific kill?
Well, is there like servers in the back end that feed it information, and that's the source of the bricking?
Yeah, I mean, it was all very confusing. It was like, okay, well, how are you going to brick this? How did you set up this thing to make it so it was something to brick to begin with? Like it feels like it's a Bluetooth controller. Why would that need to stop? I'll get into
this
like
connects to your phone, right?
yes. So so the car thing's interesting because yes, it's supposed to be CarPlay, but it doesn't do any audio. It is simply a Bluetooth controller. It connects to your phone, talks to your phone via Bluetooth, and then lets you like switch between playlists, lets you pause, play. You can scrub. You can set presets on the buttons, which was a big use. It's like, okay, physical buttons. I want to switch to my like songs. One button. Um, but yeah, didn't do
And
any
it has a
audio.
knob.
And it has the knobs. That was for
Okay.
volume.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. Just to make sure I understand, so your phone's still connecting to the Bluetooth in your car. It's just that, like you said, the controller peripheral device is this.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
It's
caught up.
just the controller, and then your phone has to connect via aux or Bluetooth to your car, which is an interesting setup, but it worked for a lot of people. And it was like, okay, this is fine. Yes. So they end up announcing that they're going to brick it, and then obviously lots of news outlets went, "Hey, that's like a topic." So immediately hit headlines of like Spotify is killing their car thing, Spotify is bricking their car things. There's a lot of misinformation that kind of dropped around here of like what they were doing, how they were doing it, but I mean, as things go, it eventually got the word out that hey, your thing that you have that you paid $90 or $30 for, and you I didn't mention this, and I don't think I've mentioned this much. You needed an active Spotify Premium subscription to use. If you dropped
Yeah.
out of Premium, you lose the device. You can do like very basic playback, but that's it. So you need an active subscription. Your $90 device, now $30 device, now off the market device, is going to be bricked. Dispose of it. And they said, yeah, we're not going to offer
Responsibly,
refunds.
please.
Responsibly,
But I
yes.
don't understand. But I guess I don't don't understand at this point, like, they've stopped earning money off of it, but there's, like it just doesn't make any sense, like,
It's
why they
probably
would.
somebody was like, "Oh, we want to pull out the code in the app to support this, so we need to
Yes.
kill it."
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, something like that.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
several
That's what I
theories on
think.
like, yeah, what happened. But just kind of covering right now, like, here is the facts of what we do know. Because yeah, I have theories on like why they did what they did. But yes, so they bricked the device or announced that they were bricking the device, and then uh, that's basically picks up where I first started getting into it.
Mhm.
Like that moment. So we can probably transition a little bit and then specify more like what the process looked from there. But that's the history. That's what the CarThing was.
So, okay, so you have your CarThing and you find out, shit, they're gonna kill it. What was your process from there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
My process was, um, oh, okay. I have this device for, I want to say a couple months before they announced it. I'd been looking at it in my car, like, I could really do something with this. Like, it's a screen, touch screen with a dial. I wanted to get like hook up to my car, maybe get like fun stats up there. I don't know. I've been thinking about modding it, but I wasn't given a reason. I was like, but it works now, so I might as well. When the Spotify said it's not going to work, so I was like, well, that's a reason as ever. So I pulled it out of my car, brought it inside, went on Google, was like, all right, CarThing modding or CarThing hacking. And I found this small little community, which had grown pretty considerably. Like, I think they got several thousand users in the past 2 weeks since the announcement, because of people just like me. And I joined it, and it was originally called CarThing Hacks. It now goes by Thing Labs because we didn't want Spotify to get mad at us for having CarThing in our name. So Thing Labs, and I found some guides online, and I think later that day I had a technically hacked version of the CarThing sitting on my desktop saying, "Hey, I want to do something with this."
What was the first hack? Yeah, what's the most, like, I guess, the standard?
So was the standard then? Thankfully, is not anymore. This is a little tangent if we're okay with going down that on how they
Yeah.
initially got in, because I did join a little bit late. We'd gotten into the device by the time I joined. It was like 2 years prior. Someone who was working on hacking the Chromecast, like the Chromecast TV, stumbled upon this device, and through taking it apart, found that this device has the same CPU as the Chromecast. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm familiar with this chipset. Sure, why not? So they went in, started messing around, found that the data pin on the USB cable was still connected, so they could do it via just the USB-C on the outside. They then found, we speculate, we actually haven't been able to talk to this person, but they found how to get into it and basically repartition it and get ADB, so Android Debug Bridge, onto there, which is basically a way to talk with the device.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, so, like, there wasn't any other obfuscation, it was just a standard plug-in cable, there wasn't any, like, pin swapping or voltage shifting, it was just regular what you would
Type C.
expect for an Android device, yeah.
Yeah, roughly. So, um, I guess a little tangent off my tangent right now. The car thing's not Android; it's Linux.
Oh,
Hmm.
but ADB
So,
worked?
Like, they
so
ported it over?
exactly. So we think, speculation again, that they were using ADB on their prototype, the one that came before this one. I don't have one on hand. Uh,
Oh.
and since they were already using the tooling for that, they ported ADB over. But speculation could be completely wrong. That's the only way that we've been able to, like, maybe that's why. Um,
But it's there.
but it's
Yeah.
there. Yeah. And then we could use it, which basically gave us access to it as if it were a normal computer.
And quick side thing, it has a battery or is it always wired?
Always wired. Yeah, no
Oh,
battery.
interesting. Okay, that makes
Mhm.
sense. Yeah, you won't be like charging another thing and bringing it in and out of the car. So we just plug into the cigarette lighter
USB.
adapter, whatever, the 12 volts in the car.
Yep, pretty much. They had a
Really?
socket actually. Yes.
Not
So
not another USB.
it was a they came with a adapter, because remember this was like
Okay.
2018, 2019 when they started
Yeah.
making this. Cars didn't have USB-A in them, and if they did, it was like that bougie car brand that like not many people had. So it
Really?
wasn't quite mainstream. So I
Oh,
don't the cars that I
Well,
had
so
didn't.
sorry.
yeah, no, I mean,
Sorry.
I'm assuming they designed it
I
for
didn't mean
cars,
to
older
USB
than
shame.
2015 or something, or
Yeah.
2012,
Yeah,
or I don't know,
they're
whenever USB ports started being a thing.
they're targeting cars that don't have CarPlay, and typically those are
Yes.
cars that
You're
also
no.
don't have USB. So it came
Okay.
with a
You
USB
are correct.
adapter. Yeah,
Okay.
it came with a USB adapter to the cigarette lighter, and if you actually plugged it into anything else, it would say, "Hey, use the included one. We don't want you using this," which is going to be a
Oh,
clue for us later. They
Oh,
wanted you to
okay.
only use
Yeah, yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
adapter.
yeah. Okay.
sneaky.
Yeah, so a little sneaky. They wanted their adapter into your cigarette lighter, and then plugged into that, and then plugged into it to always be on, because it doesn't have a battery.
Oh, okay. So when you got to ADB, or when somebody got to ADB, do you still need to use the adapter that was provided, or can you use any USB-C?
So at first we were like, "Oh no, we can't use anything else." If you press the top corner button and the front face button, it bypasses the screen and works anyways. So it wasn't a hard lock, but it was like a, hey, you shouldn't be doing this type thing. Um, and we found it was just a Boolean flag inside of the code that would be like, check, yes, no, no, then show screen. Thankfully, maybe there was intention to like vendor lock it basically to their cigarette lighter, but it was either not implemented or wasn't planned. So they got ADB on the device, and then they disappeared. So we had one repository for them with poorly written up instructions in the README about how to do this process, and then they made a Python script to do it for you. So it's like, okay, that's progress. So when I got it, that was the
And we
state
have
that
no idea who this is.
Wait. The they is the Chromecast person, or just
Chromecast person,
Spotify? Okay. Thank you.
unknown Chromecast person that I think we tried reaching out to, but they kind of went radio silent.
Interesting. Mystery.
Mystery,
Mhm.
yeah, mystery benefactor.
And our second
who,
guest today is no.
yeah, and we got them here. Oh, that would be
Ah!
Interesting. For
crazy.
sure.
Well, we don't have a big studio audience clap to like really make that work. What do you got there, Alvaro? Anything like that?
That's all I got.
Yeah, not quite, but close enough.
Okay. So Rivet. Okay, so we have unknown person who unlocked enough for you guys to get going, and a way to do that so you're not always stuck on that weird setup.
And then
Okay.
so that's where you come in, right? You're like, okay, I joined this community and we have ADB access. Where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yep, pretty much. One other thing that we've done prior to this is they found that on the device, the web app. So, I think I need to give this context first. This device, the way that Spotify set it up, is it's running a very small version of Linux on it. So, full-blown operating system, and then it launches, I think, a Wayland process to then open a browser, and then the UI is a website.
Okay.
So it's probably Chromium and
So it's a port.
uses Web Bluetooth or something horrible.
Not Web Bluetooth. They did implement a backend, which
Oh, they
is still
did. Okay.
compiled. We still don't know what that code is, but they do have a backend for the Bluetooth, and then it just interfaces via a WebSocket to the front end, and it's a website. You can open it up on your computer.
So you're Bluetoothy WebSocketing from your phone to there, or
Yeah, so you're going from the Spotify app to Bluetooth to the car's Bluetooth to a WebSocket to a website.
So weird tethering.
Very
there's a
weird tethering.
Yeah, a WebSocket server on the device to do the
Mhm.
Bluetooth interaction with the browser. And when you
Yep.
say you can open it as a website, can you get a network adapter, or can you mount the device?
I meant more if you use ADB to pull their website off of the
Yeah.
device, you can
Okay.
then like open it up on your computer.
Yeah, like if you just get the source files. Okay.
Yeah. So we had to do a little bit of that just to kind of figure out like, okay, well, who knows what Spotify did here? We have to figure a few things out. But we eventually, they kept their block maps in the website, which is interesting. Just a little bit of web dev here. When you compile a website, it will basically take the code and make it small because it's JavaScript. It doesn't compile, but it becomes a lot smaller. And then there's a thing called a block map that can take that small code and then make it big again, basically translating from the small version
Like
to the big
obfuscated
version.
to, yeah.
Yeah. So they left that in there, so we were able to get the full code from the original website. That is, to my understanding, someone else did it. That is what I think they did. So I could be corrected by someone else and be completely wrong, but that is, to my understanding, what happened.
So now you have the full JavaScript interface to talk to the Bluetooth WebSocket thing, which is kind of the most important bit. Okay.
Yep. So now we can talk with the backend. Be like, okay, let's start sending random commands to the backend. See what's going on here. And I mean, that was kind of the start of the big modding journey. Is I pulled that website and then started pulling it from the CarThing, and I was like, okay, well let's like mess around here a little bit. Like what's going on? My prior experience to this was I had made like 4 or 5 websites and had never coded in TypeScript before. This was my first time, and I had done very little. I'd never even done like Tailwind before this, which is a way to style websites.
CSS, yeah.
So yeah, CSS, but specifically Tailwind. So very, very unexperienced dev, just kind of like winging it with just the knowledge that I've accumulated, and just putting together pieces of effectively reverse engineering how Spotify implemented this website. Well, it's an interesting case because it's a website that cannot access the internet. And so much of our websites are built around the idea of load the smallest amount possible and then fetch the rest later. But when you have nothing to fetch from, you're stuck with just what you have. So there are a lot of interesting things that they've done to work around.
I don't want to tell them about the old ways. Sorry,
I didn't the internet for a while.
I'm both intrigued at like how differently like what web development is today versus a long time ago, where you're gonna wait a long time to get the whole thing versus what you're describing.
I think just the community switches back and forth like every 3 years. It's like, we want to send the whole thing to the client. We want to send nothing to the client. We want to send the whole thing. Like, I've seen that moving to React and then Vue and then some of that server-side rendering and then back to, we should put it all at once. Okay. It's been interesting to watch that landscape develop.
Okay, so when you talk about there being it being a very small size, what are we saying? Like, what's a small size?
Like for the website to be a small size?
Yeah.
It would basically be, I've not coded in this framework, so this is all theoretical. It tries to send like the first page and the full first page, and then will render components. And then as you navigate between pages, it will load just to the smaller part of the page. So dynamic rendering.
Okay.
This is what it's doing on the device?
Yeah.
No, so this is, sorry, that was a small tangent.
It has everything.
Oh, that was Tailwind?
Website.
Yeah.
That was modern. Modern way that people I've seen are wanting to build websites.
Okay. Just
so unrelated from the CarThing, just mini tangent. Right. The CarThing is built using React, which was interesting to find. So it's a React app that would load the entire site all at once. There was no network calls because there couldn't be network calls, just serving off of the local file system.
Okay. So can I ask the one question? So just because we didn't quite get into there. So how big is that package website on this device? And I guess my follow-up question becomes, and how was it getting updated? Through the Spotify app? And maybe that's why, if it's big enough, that's probably why they wanted to dump it. I'm guessing.
I don't know. I can't give you like a number. I can't say, oh, this many kilobytes. I don't know that off the top of my head. I think I have a dump on my computer. If you really wanted to know, I could find that out. I'd say
That's
less
okay.
than a megabyte though.
Yeah.
And was there any dynamic, like any images, like album art and things like that get loaded? Or was it just showing text? Because then, if so, then the Spotify app would be sending it more information to cache on the device, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. So what we found, because we got this far, we were going into the Bluetooth, and we found that it was hitting API points that we hadn't seen before. It was hitting ones within the app that we were like, this is strange. What is it doing? So Spotify, instead of using their public API or their embedded SDK API, they made their own for this device, and they
Of
made their
course.
own custom port off of their app that would then send, like you said, the images, the metadata, basically everything that the CarThing needed to show content. So yes, it was an image that was probably turned to like base 64 or something, sent over Bluetooth, and then sent to that back end, which was then served to the front end. The whole 9 yards.
It sounds so like.
And do you know if this is BLE or Bluetooth Classic?
I think it was BLE.
I mean, BLE would be simpler to set up, I would assume, but
I
guess
forget,
you can do a lot with BLE now.
They needed MFI to get higher data rates.
Yeah.
On
See,
iPhone.
that's what I was going to comment on.
Oh.
So MFI, I was just going to comment. Apple's
that's made
MFI
for iPhone.
has
for those who don't know.
Yeah, that specifically has a characteristic means to send all that music specific data.
Yeah. Then you can do custom stuff. Okay.
Yeah, because that's what it was sounding like to me. Oh, it's just like what Apple does. And so, follow-up question, what happens when you're a Android person with a thing?
Did it work with Android?
It did, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It did work with
I guess Android just lets you do more stuff.
It's publicly available.
Something that I found with Android, because we've been trying really hard for the last couple months getting Bluetooth working, and we're like, well, it works on Android. Doesn't work on Apple. But it's
because of MFI.
Mostly because of MFI, because it's just really annoying. It has the MFI chip, but because we don't have the other end of the key on the app,
right,
we can't validate it and then send the data. It's like,
Yes. So when you're saying it doesn't work on iPhone, we're now talking about the DeskThing, right?
Yes. Sorry. So I skipped ahead in time. We're talking about the DeskThing. DeskThing doesn't work via Bluetooth because of MFI. That is the biggest roadblock.
We'll cover what that is in a second.
So
it's because the app itself has to have the permission. Like if you had a in development mode, maybe one person could do it, but it probably is a paired thing where the MFI chip on the thing is a match with some UUID or whatever on the app itself, and then the OS is like, okay, this app, yeah, you can talk this Bluetooth thing, because otherwise any other app could hijack it and do what it wanted.
But I was going to say that MFI specifically, maybe it's changed yet again, but for a long time, in order for Apple to not have to deal with every single person that wanted to make an accessory, they were encouraging people to use BLE because they wouldn't have to go through the MFI program. Maybe it's changed.
Well, but then you would lose the extra features, right? Like, yeah, you can do BLE with no MFI.
No, but you can still do the music service without ever MFIing it up.
Including images and stuff?
I don't know about images.
Because I think this is special, right? Because this was a remote, not a streaming music.
Okay. I'm going to let the expert here, which is neither of us.
Yeah. So we did get, I just on this tangent, running down this tangent of Bluetooth, we did get that working. We got Bluetooth, BLE, or whatever the normal Bluetooth working. And we got it so that it could show the current album art. Yeah, classic. Show the album art and do basic playback controls. but that is all we could do. Spotify needed the MFI so that they could then send their own images, their own albums, their own.
Yep.
They even had like a voice assistant on here. There are 4 microphones on the top of this that are probably higher
Whoa.
quality than mine right now. And we joked around making this a peripheral device of just a microphone that you can just plug in.
It could be a Bluetooth microphone.
It could be. But yeah, so they needed the MFI in order to do the extra images and the extra things that they wanted to send to it. Because MFI gives you higher data rates, and it lets you move things faster, and it lets you have priority.
Yeah.
Yep.
And prefab characteristics.
Run in the background, all the good stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like we've strung off of like several tangents, and I want to resolve them before we move on to the next topic.
Let's do it.
Can you think of anything
that tree?
Reversing that tree. Can you think of anything that we have to finish out real quick? Because we got on
I think
the
we got
tangent of
Bluetooth down.
Yes.
The reason we got into Bluetooth that was because we had a web browser on the Linux device that was communicating with WebSockets to basically a website that's the UI, and I think that covers the UI. So
I think the only side question that I think I was leaning towards is, did we ever figure out how updates worked? If there was ever a need, or was it so?
Oh, did they do
stable
firmware
and
updates?
Yeah,
Is
so
that what
they did have OTA over the air. So basically, updates that would there's 2 partitions on here. There's a A and a B, which is very, very Android still, very, very phone. So definitely inspired by their previous device, and it will try to update one and then fail back to the other. But there was over-the-air updates that would run in the background. So yes, that's how they would update it. They'd just send a full new image. Issue is if that image does not meet a certain like code sign or something on device, it will fail. And so we haven't been able to make our own OTAs.
Okay. Yay. I guess we can put that topic on the back burner. What were I think you have 3 or 4 other leaves that you wanted to tackle, but like I feel like that one's interesting. But if you don't have anything else to
we can go back
to
OTA in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. We can hit that later when it probably becomes more relevant. So yeah, the initial hack, the first hack that we had was a Python script, which is notorious for being slow. And we would boot it up, and it might work. You had to use Zadig, which is basically a driver utils on Windows. And we had to switch out the driver and then run this script and then let it sit for, it took people 7 hours. We were on a call with them setting this up, and it took them 7
this
hours
is
to flash the
enable
device.
ADB?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just what? So
in order to enable
how do you
ADB,
spell that?
Oh, Zadig, Z-A dig,
D-I-G, yeah.
Z-A. So this is to enable ADB. So it's probably doing some sort of brute forcing something, and then Windows just happens to be because. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. I was just going to agree with you.
Continue. Okay. Yeah. No, the Zadig or Zadig probably because the mystery person happened to run Windows, and that was the example, right?
It was because that was the only way to find the device with the method that he was flashing it with. Yeah. So the original drivers, they have. I guess I need to explain how you actually flash the device. There are 5 buttons on the top, and you hold down the first and the 4th one, and then plug it in, and it will check if it's connected to a computer, and if it is, it'll keep the screen black, and you've now entered burn mode, and that exposes it as a different device.
That's
to
very
the computer.
Convenient. Well, okay, so how did they figure that out? Because that is random. Like, I wouldn't think that. Like, I think about Android, and I'm like, if I hold down whatever the magic buttons are, usually a volume down and a power, something like that, there's something on the screen at least. But in this case, there's nothing.
I don't know. Like I said, that was figured out before I joined the scene. I'm gonna guess it was just brute forcing. Like, we need to get into this device. We're gonna start holding random buttons and plugging it in. Yep.
Yeah.
There was a bit that we thought it was 3 buttons, I think. So you were awkwardly like holding your device with like a claw grip, trying to hold all these buttons, plugging it in. Was not the easiest way or the most user friendly, but we found it was only those 2 after someone forgot to press one of the buttons.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're at the point where you have a Python script that is able to enable ADB on a device after some number of hours.
Yes, and then 7 hours later, boom, you're in.
Yes, if it worked, which it often didn't. And it would often fail halfway through or right at the very end.
I feel like
So
you had to play the long game on this.
I got really lucky. It did it for me in half an hour, I think. So whatever magic combination my computer has, the issue we have is data rates. That's what's slowing it down.
Okay. So I have a couple more questions. So you mentioned Windows to get this done. Does that mean that currently only Windows is supported for engaging in this project?
At the time, I just had a Windows computer, and so I was
Okay.
hacking it on Windows.
But
That was
others,
the only thing.
okay.
It did work
Okay.
on Linux and Mac. Mac
Okay,
unreliably,
cool.
but some people had success.
One quick question: is this all happening over Bluetooth?
It's happening via the cable. So what
Okay, it is over USB. Okay, I
Yes,
wasn't
it is
sure if
over
you had
USB.
to go over Bluetooth to enable the USB. Okay, now this makes more sense. So somehow
the
over
way that
USB, they're
Yep. So the way the initial hacked work is someone, the first person, went onto the device using ADB and enabled, got ADB enabled through a longer method, and then dumped the entire device, all of the firmware, all of the software on there, and then the hack is to take that dump and then reflash the entire device with ADB enabled. So that's why it took so long. And it was super slow. It was measuring at bytes per second when you were flashing it.
So you read out the whole image, I guess. You modify one bit that says enable ADB, and then you put it back. But wouldn't that break the signature?
Yes.
Like if the boot. Ah.
And so we couldn't OTA this. So once you do hack with that, it also prevents it from being OTA'd. So if you hacked it on, say, like 8.6.6, which is just one of their versions, you wouldn't then get OTAs for newer versions because it would mess their some type of data validation script, and then it wouldn't work.
But it would still boot from a quote unquote unsigned or improperly signed image if you flashed it over USB.
Yes, it would. So it would still boot,
Oh,
even though we did
interesting.
modify
So
it.
developer versus production
Yeah.
signing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
most likely.
Could I just make one comment here? So you mentioned like we're kind of bouncing around and like, yeah, I can see how we're kind of teleporting all over the timeline. But given the fact that apparently it could take a third of a day to update, at what point did anybody stop and consider just creating a time machine to speed this up? Seems like there's a lot of downtime.
There was a lot of downtime. But a lot of good conversations when we're because we'd have people like in a Discord
Just
call and
everyone's
we're trying to
waiting.
trying to debug someone's getting it to work, and we're just like chatting, just
Was just
waiting for them to
wondered.
finish. Some people had issues, and at the time we didn't know why. So they would pull over like, oh yeah, my dad's computer runs Linux. I'm going to try that real quick, and then they'd pull in their dad's computer and then connect that and try it there, which would be another 6 hours.
So a lot of parallelism is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we were just throwing whatever we could at the wall, and we were seeing what stuck. Thankfully, that was then. It is better now. Anyways.
This is a one-time thing per device?
Yes, it is a one-time thing.
Okay, but once you
the
do
device
it,
has been flashed, it's good.
You're good. Okay, cool. But now it's faster. So
yeah, now I can so to jump ahead to current, I can get your device from downloading DeskThing to flashed with DeskThing in 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes.
Ooh, nice.
The entire process.
So what happened? So what was the breakthrough?
Yeah, so a couple notable things happened. The first one was we were in a Discord call with some people. They joined the server like 2 days before, and they left the server 2 days after. So these random people were here, and we were talking about Chrome, like the device. So like, funny thing, I have like the Chromecast. That's what I hacked before this. We're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then they just dropped, oh yeah, I have like the binaries that can talk directly to the device, and it's like a lot faster. We're like,
so
what?
They just dropped some binaries?
Yeah. So they dropped the binaries to the device that let us interface directly with the chipset, and that let us avoid the Python script and let us talk directly to, it's a Amlogic chip, directly to Amlogic, and it sped the flashing time up from 6 hours to 20 minutes,
Awesome.
which was
Still quite lengthy, but good. Do you want to hear my 2 theories? Okay.
yes, I would like to.
The there's the reasonable theory, which is some very pissed off engineers who worked on this are just like, screw it, we're dropping the truth so these people can
The
like
insider.
have this live on. The second part is some people from the future finally figured it out.
Wrote the code.
Time jumped back, came back. He was like, look, this is going to save you guys so much time. Here, boom.
But then would bring the question, who coded the binaries?
Maybe you did.
Maybe you did.
I think we had a time loop here.
You were
so it's because
you were 20 years later.
Because you have it. You don't have to code it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if I took the binaries we have right now, went back in time and shared them, then the binaries are made because the binaries are made. Follow-up question.
And this binary, is this one that runs on, it's a cross-platform, or now is the binary stuck on just Windows or just Linux?
Yeah.
I think it was cross-platform. It was not Mac. It was Linux and Windows, but it was not Mac.
Yeah, that sounds probably some
Well,
developer
we can make
tool.
that work in a Docker.
Well, and if someone's inclined, they can reverse engineer that binary and figure out what the hell's going on. If they haven't already, I don't know.
That's true. Docker does not work, nor does any type of VM. Because of the USB pass-through, it needs to hit random things, and it dies. It doesn't work in...
Yeah, let me go on a rant about that. Okay. I've turned into that old person that just gripes about technology. So I guess here's a follow-on. Do you think that if the second theory holds true, do you think it was just 20 plus years of vibe coding that eventually produced this, or we'll get to that theory, that part of the theory later?
We can get the vibe coding after.
Yeah, we'll hit that after. My one thing to note is vibe coding feels like it's rarely faster. I feel like if we vibe coded it, we'd find something that takes 12 hours instead of 6.
Yeah, you still be debugging it.
And we'd still be debugging it to this day. Maybe. But I mean, that's where we are now. Obviously, landscape's changing, but we'll hit that. We'll hit that later. That is a topic in and of itself.
There might be another quantum breakthrough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So strangers dropped in, dropped the binaries, dropped out. I hope you scanned them for malware. And then now you were in. What happened next?
So we were in, but we didn't release them because we found that these binaries initially were we couldn't really know what they were doing, and it meant get this, the way these binaries had to work is you had to use Zadig again. You had to install a specific driver that was different from the first driver, and you had to rename the driver to World Cup device arbitrarily. Specific capitalization.
I still do not know what Zadig is.
It's a tool for Windows that lets you load drivers in certain ways, I think.
Clearly, I've
used it in the past.
It's a way to load
enough.
drivers. So like let's say it loads up on one driver, like WinUSB, and you want to load libUSBK, which is a different type of driver for a USB device.
Yep.
You can then switch between the two. So like a driver util.
But in this case, there was case sensitivity issues.
Yes. So the binaries were searching for a connected device that was specifically the WinUSB device, specifically on the specific driver. And so we hesitated releasing these to the public because we didn't know how we felt about people arbitrarily changing drivers on their device. Because we had one person change the driver on their mouse accidentally, so we had to figure out how to tell them how to change it back using only keyboard commands. And we're like, we don't want to like make that public and have people start really messing with their system until we figure out a streamlined way to do this.
But then you did.
I'm very impressed that you're thinking so kindly about how to enable, not just let people get into their own trouble.
So through the whole thing, I kind of took on the role of tech support. like whenever someone had an issue, I just happened to be on Discord. So I'd be like, oh yeah, here's how you help. So I'd help them through. So I think I've helped like thousands of people potentially at this point, through all of the errors that you could imagine under the sun. So the last thing I wanted was people coming in saying, hey, my headphones don't work, my mouse doesn't work, my keyboards don't work, I don't know what to do, and everything's broken. It's like, nightmare case.
You should have used a separate computer from your main computer. And have you
Probably,
tried
but
turning it on and off again?
which is surprisingly effective in this case. And people wouldn't do
For
it.
Windows, yes.
Just for the device, people wouldn't turn it off and back on.
Oh,
And so when they would fail the flash, they'd do it again. And then they'd swear by the fact that they're doing it all right. And we would just tell them, have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? They did it and it worked.
Hello.
IT 101
the
here.
things that were, this is just, it worked in the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, but not
It's
in
gonna work.
in 2020. No, it's going to work in 2020.
Right.
I mean, you may
yeah.
foobar yourself too, but
Yeah, that's fair.
okay.
Okay, so we have this hacking. It's significantly faster. We're still kind of reserved on releasing it to everyone and everywhere and trying to write up tutorials. A little bit later, I ended up making a YouTube channel, like making a DeskThing YouTube channel and making a video on using that. But we're not there yet. I'm sitting with this device that's now hacked, and I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? And I ask on the Discord, second message that I send over here is like, hey, I want to make a web app. What's ideas? Random person, once again, joined the day before. They join. They say, a to-do list would be cool. And then they leave the next day. And I'm like, oh, okay, to-do list. So I hook up this device, and I figure out that you can use ADB to open up a port. And then you can host like an Express server on your computer. And you can talk back and forth with the device with like a host program. And so I set up, I think I did it with Trello initially. And I made it so that you could see like your Trello to-do list and stuff like that, because I'd been into Trello then. I'm not anymore. I've not touched the program. But at the time, it was a to-do list. I was like, okay, well, this is cool. What if I pushed it further? And that mentality, that scope creep, is how I went from small to-do list to DeskThing, because it went from to-do thing, which was my first name, to-do thing to DeskThing. And it was from that initial person who said, you should make a to-do list app, that we got to where we are today.
And so we should say, we've been mentioning DeskThing without saying what it is. I mean, it's kind of obvious, sort of, but we should make it explicit for someone missed a bit.
Yeah.
We can push forward the timeline a little bit here. So DeskThing is exactly what the original one was, just with a lot of bells and whistles. It is a desktop app that connects via the cable to your CarThing, and it loads a custom website on it, and it lets your CarThing act as a really fancy peripheral for your desk. I've been comparing it with like the Elgato Stream Deck, which is the more well-known one.
To mention that.
And, there's a few others. The difference is this has a screen, and you can do a lot with a touchscreen. It basically just shows like what you're currently listening to in music, letting you switch between different community-made apps, allowing you to. There's a lot of software. We can get more into like the process of making that software later. But yes, your question.
I was just going to ask if people are using it for Twitch, like for Twitch for OBS, like to control.
Not yet. I would like to make an OBS app. It's the open broadcast software. It's Screen Recorder. I'm using it right now for my.
Oh, okay.
Here, wait. I can do something funny. That's OBS.
Yeah.
Oh.
You've probably seen you've probably seen many people use it, but you can switch cameras with keyboards and add text
now I get it.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have a kind of a different thing. I have Loop Deck that kind of does that.
That exactly. So it's a device with buttons that may or might not have OLED like displays on the buttons themselves, so you can reprogram to do cool stuff. But this is great because it has physical buttons, it has a screen, and it has a knob. So it seems like a super versatile.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can do a lot with that. It's a interesting like UX experience figuring out, okay, well, there's a knob. How do I use that? But yeah, so that's DeskThing in a nutshell. It enables your CarThing to be a fancy desktop controller. And I've pushed that so you can, a lot of people didn't have CarThings and they want a DeskThing, so you can also use it on your phone. And you can use your phone as your fancy desktop computer or controller, because why not? It's a website with a WebSocket.
Yep.
And Apple. It works with Apple.
Oh.
Oh.
I mean, it's a
Found a
website.
way.
Yeah, so if you
Oh,
do via
because
localhost,
yes.
there you go.
Yes.
Yep. 192.161.101.
Because it's not over Bluetooth.
Because it's not over
Yes.
Bluetooth. I have avoided Bluetooth like the plague ever since I've seen the horrors of opening it up.
Tell
I
us about the
cannot
horrors of
blame you.
opening it up.
So I didn't do much personally because I abstracted myself away from the Bluetooth and was focusing more on the software. So DeskThing, getting that working, getting it multi-threaded, getting it system resource efficient, all that fun stuff. But someone else on Thing Labs, which if you remember was the rebranded CarThing hacks, someone on like the core team of developers spent months trying to get Bluetooth to work, and I watched his descent into insanity as these months progressed, figuring out that Bluetooth is not a standard, it is a set of recommendations that people only kind of
Yep.
follow. And
That's not wrong.
there's like no documentation for it, trying to do anything fun with it, like immediately starts breaking on every other device. He couldn't get his emulators to work. He ended up buying like USB dongles to like make them connect to try to like simulate it to like get a dev environment. So yes, I saw a little bit into that madness and went, no, thank you.
I could
sounds
just plug
terrifying.
it in.
So
Yeah.
DeskThing still works via the cable because of that
Excellent.
reason.
We'll stay away from the devices on the top layers.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I guess pushing this timeline further, we eventually found a third way to hack it. So we're on the third flashing method. So second one was with the binaries, and it was a little obscure. Third way, we found that if we change the driver to WinUSB, and then we plug it into the computer, only Google Chrome-based drivers, not Brave and not a few others, but specific browsers have an API that's like a USB protocol API that allows it to interface
Web
with a
USB.
connected USB. Yeah, Web USB.
Mhm.
And it picked up
Yep.
the device. You're like,
Yes.
Yep.
it's seeing it
So
now.
now you can update.
That's
Yep.
progress. So we ended up through a lot of USB debugging, figuring out how to send data to it. We found out how to flash it from a website, and this was probably
So
the
now you don't need
biggest
to install
development.
anything.
Yep.
Wow.
So now there's a website. It's Terbium. One of the people on our team made it, and it basically says, "All right, here you go. Upload file, flash, and then it will go through the process."
Boom.
That's awesome.
So I can buy something I can buy this off of eBay, the old Spotify CarThing.
Thing.
Go to this website, and it will turn it to a DeskThing for me.
Yes. It will
Yep.
turn it to a ADB enabled CarThing for you.
Okay.
And then once
I
you
still
get
have to do
DeskThing,
more.
DeskThing will then have a configure button that I've made auto configure, like one button, press, and it will open up the necessary ports. It will load the web app, so
Okay.
it will remove the Spotify web app and then add the DeskThing web app, and then we'll configure it as needed.
Nice.
Mhm.
Oh, that is a million miles from where you started from.
Yeah, from 7 hours to maybe it'll work or not, and
yeah, I think
that must have felt nice when you're like, "Oh, Web USB, boom."
Oh, it was so nice. And just to put in your mental timeline here, we're sitting around like July, August. I think like around September, October is when we figured out the USB. And it was like November. No, I think it was still October when we got the website working. So something else interesting happened around that time. If we're okay with just moving along, are there any stragglers that we want to touch before we move on?
No, you're being very much you're managing the completeness of this discussion very well.
All right. Yeah, so we hit October, and a YouTuber made a video about DeskThing.
Oh.
And this was the beginning of the end. Not really the end, but the beginning. He made this video, and I mean, he had a couple videos with a decent amount of views, but overnight, in like the next 3 days, it reached 1 million views. And Linus Tech Tips on Friday made a video on it, or made a segment about it, like talking about DeskThing, talking about the CarThing and being hacked. I think like several other news outlets started picking this up. There was like Ars Technica, there was like Tom's Hardware Guide, like several places started pushing this. And I thought I still had like a month because December was the kill date. We're like in November. And it was like, Oh
Yeah.
no. So DeskThing's in shambles, and then suddenly there's this flood of like thousands of people coming in from online. And that was the big push that like when okay, we need to like start ramping up some things. So we had the website released, and then I
Yeah.
started pushing out updates after updates on DeskThing. I spent like 6 solid days making auto updating work for DeskThing.
Okay. Do you have a day job at this point, or was it just 6 days of I don't know,
I'm
over
still in
Christmas
school.
holidays? Like
So I'm
yes.
a full-time
Okay.
student during this. So those 6 days straight
How?
was winter break.
Oh,
Ah,
thank
okay.
God. Okay,
Yeah.
but not studying for a midterm, not, like, panicking about something
So like I
collegiate.
said, I went into software development. So all of my classes are
Mhm.
coding. And I think at that time I
Okay.
was doing like something JavaScript when all of DeskThing is written in TypeScript. And so I could
Uh-huh.
basically sleep, arrive in class. I did all of the homework while in class and then left at the end and then was like, all right, we're done. No, all of my classes were a breeze because everything that they were talking about was things that I was practically learning hands-on with this project. I think I might have learned more from DeskThing and the processes behind that than most of college.
100%.
Well, yeah,
I will
that's
make it a note for folks like me who, until not that long ago, didn't know what TypeScript was. It's basically JavaScript with strongly typed with data types, basically, and then that gets compiled onto regular JavaScript, right?
Oh,
Yes, yeah,
thank you. I didn't
exactly.
know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So so
TypeScript
so
is
it's strongly
I don't
typed.
do web development.
yeah. So JavaScript was known for being like, is it a Boolean or is it like your entire database? Like you technically
Yes.
didn't know when you had an object. It was chaos.
It's all of
So
them.
TypeScript comes
Feels
in.
like
It's
Python could learn from
so Python apparently is loosely strongly typed. I found this out
Yes,
a
it is
couple
very
months ago.
loosely yes. You can
But you
ask, you're
can
like, "Hey,
but you can
what
define
type?"
types. And then
Yes,
maybe it's very like backwards but forwards implemented. It was a nightmare. I
but it
don't like
doesn't
Python.
care.
Yeah. I had
But the
a
world
bad
loves
experience.
Python.
I I know, and
What?
I know I'm contrary for this, but my one
No,
experience with
it's okay.
Python, in all seriousness, was a math equation, and it took 24 hours of running nonstop on a computer to solve this math equation. I said, if this was done in C, it'd be done in 5 minutes. Why is this taking
Well,
so long?
that's
It was a
true.
recursive polynomial. Like it was an
Oh.
intense
Oh.
math. Um,
You're talking to two firmware engineers, so we're in the C team for sure. All the
Yes,
recursive and a microcontroller would explode.
yeah, it most definitely would.
parts are in your face.
You get all the magic smoke at the end. It's like, great.
There's magic smoke, and then you're kinda off by a little bit in that propagation of the error. It's like, it's 1."
Close enough.
Close enough. It's either
So
0, 1, or infinity, so
yeah, there are really
okay,
only
go
three
ahead.
numbers. Um,
Yeah, there
so yeah,
really are.
so like that places us December. DeskThing blew up, lots of people joining, and then that's kind of like how I got really involved with making DeskThing a lot more than what it was before, because we had just gone through like a UI rewrite, making it look better, and I was still like scrambling the back end trying to get this working. I ended up re-implementing because. I mean, as projects grow, you have to refactor sometimes. I think I've recoded all of
Mhm.
DeskThing at least 4 times now. Um,
Oh gosh.
yeah. So I ended up recoding it to use like proper dependency injection, which if you know anything about TypeScript, it's not technically
Yeah.
supposed to do that, but it made the development a lot easier for me to just slip in more stores. So I had to roll my own store providers and roll my own interfaces and types and all of that to make it maintainable while I have hundreds of people like looking down my back like, hey, I found this bug as well. It's like, okay, great, because keep in mind, at this point, I'm still doing all of the tech support as well.
Mhm.
I think, yeah, and so everyone joined and they were having their issues. So I rolled out like update after update, trying to like ramp up because it was 2 months
That's
earlier or a
incredible.
month earlier than I thought it was going to be.
Is okay, so, like, you did put on your resume that you now have startup experience.
I
Because
have
that's
not.
effectively what just happened there.
I have not worded
You
it as
could.
startup. I still have it under like
Co
the project
comfortable
section.
with high pressure comfortable with high pressure launch
Very
situations of
low paycheck.
IoT devices. Yeah.
Very, very low
Yeah.
paycheck. So all I had at
Or
this
no
point is
pay.
I had donations set up. So if someone so
Okay, that's
desired,
good.
they could potentially like buy me coffee. So it was a buy me a coffee thing.
And How many coffees
And
did you get?
a pretty considerable amount considering like it was donations. I got like over 1,000 by this point, um, which is pretty good, but also considering I was pouring maybe 100 hours into this every week was definitely
Yeah.
not compensating.
Okay,
Yeah,
so no
you
sleep.
can survive with that much. Yeah.
Yeah, no sleep. I would be so it ended up getting to the
Thank
point
God for
that
the coffee.
yeah, which there's a mini tangent that we can get to later about me and coffee. That is kind of just a
Oh,
fun fact, but we can get there later. Um,
is it fun?
oh, it is. I enjoy coffee, but I enjoy the taste. It doesn't
Okay.
do anything. Caffeine doesn't
Oh, no.
impact me at all, so it doesn't actually keep me
Okay,
up.
okay.
But we can get into that later. I
Okay,
ended
yeah,
up
yeah, okay,
pushing
fine.
my classes. So during my class hours, I ended up doing all of the classwork during like the first 30 minutes, and for the next like hour and a half, I would then be coding DeskThing in class. That's the point that it got to where it was basically just every waking hour. It
It
was
took
like, all right,
over.
let's yeah, it took over everything for a little bit. Um, and just a little bit about me is like I joined college, and I was like, I want to do all of the college experience this year because my academics were weird. I was doing 1 year in person, so I was like, all right, let's do all of college. I had joined 18 clubs on campus as well that I was juggling with this. So I was in 18 clubs, a full class load, and then DeskThing started blowing up. So I was also, at the time, I was the leader of the robotics club. I was one of the head of the web development club. I was also in several dozen others. So it wasn't that I was just doing this and DeskThing. I had a full week, to put it
Okay.
lightly.
Did
Unless I sleep was not
was
really
your
in the
college
schedule.
No, no, it was never in the schedule, clearly,
Mm-mm.
even before this, but, like, I guess I'm wondering, 1, did you get out of it what you were hoping? That but, ignoring the desk thingy for a second, but, like, the 18 clubs, I feel like I'm you got out of it what you and will you be using those things in the I mean, I guess robotics maybe, but, like, in my head, I think about, like, college clubs. I'm like, I don't know if you what do you do with that?
It
Because
was more
nobody
just
in graduate school cares.
it was more just experience is why I joined. I didn't join for like future resume. It was more just, all right, I'm gonna be at college for 1 year. Let's do college stuff. Let's like join the
Mhm.
club to make sure like I can experience all of it. And then I can put on my resume that I was like the lead of clubs. I have leadership experience. Sure. So
I've
it was
ordered a
more
lot
just
of
for
pizza. Okay.
yeah. I mean, I had to teach segments. I had to teach a whole bunch of like freshmen, sophomores how to use React and then how to like make a website. So it was a little bit more. I had to make a robot basically with a whole bunch of people who um, hadn't done that before. It's like, all right, so let's make this, develop this, code this, and I think we got second place. So I was like, yeah, okay. So
Wow.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think I got
that
out of
was
it.
not my college experience. One time I
Yeah.
joined a club, but most of the time people would just invite me because there was pizza, and so I'd show up for the pizza.
Mm. So I would come on the days where there
I think
wasn't
I
pizza as well.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, which
There
there was
weren't
pizza
the
the first
days when
day.
they didn't have pizza. Yeah. Oh, no, no. Pizza every day, otherwise no one would show up. No one had
Mm.
time.
That
Okay,
explains
different
attendance
college
number.
experience.
Joking. Yes, different college
That does
experience.
extend very different
Mhm.
color. Yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up
Uh,
dropping a few. I dropped down to like 5 by the time
yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah.
started getting big. I was like, all right, I don't have time for this. I dropped down to 5. Um,
Yeah,
and then
5 is still a lot.
yeah, I think by
Oh,
that
wow.
time I was in game dev club. I was on a group of like 5, and I was technically the project lead for that. I was on software dev. I was on robotics. I was on
Mhm.
there was an honors club that I was in that was just a 1 semester thing, and then the other one was I'm blanking right now. It was just a lifetime ago. It was last year.
It
Uh,
sounds like you've aged a lot.
have
Yeah,
done a lot. Yeah. So yeah, that's thing blowing up there, showing the people. It's like, oh my gosh, look, this person, like mentioned me in a video, and then it grew from there. Just mini story. Funniest thing I had happen while at college is I went to like a public like study place, and I was working on the car thing. So I had my Mac next to me. I had my laptop next to me because I had to be doing cross-platform compatibility. And then I have 2 external monitors that I carry around with me. So I have my Mac, my laptop, my second monitor, a second keyboard, my keyboard, 2 CarThings that are set up. Like I'm taking up the whole table. And this person walked up to me and he was like, "Oh my gosh, is that a CarThing?" Yeah, it actually is. Like, did you know that there is this person who hacked the CarThing and can get it to keep working? I went, just playing into it. "Oh, really? What's it called?" They're like, I think they called it like DeskThing or something. It's like, that's really interesting. And I alt tabbed to VS Code and said, "That's also DeskThing," and blew his brain. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're probably watching LTT or something.
Yeah, I got one of the videos, something recommended, but it was fun. Like that was my first interaction of someone who had found out about my project, but hadn't like heard about it from me, and those stories kind of
Yes.
became more so normal of like people approaching and be like, "Oh my gosh, is that a desk thing?" It's like recognize, like, okay, this is my first time ever getting that type of exposure. But yeah, that's kind of when it blew up, and then from then on, we continued developing DeskThing and continued getting a lot of quality of life features.
Wow. That's amazing.
So what's the current state?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the current state, how technical do you want? How much do you want of like what it can do versus what you can do with it?
Well, I feel
Ooh.
like I've aged 10 years just listening to the riveting story.
Let's see.
Yep. Hi there.
I mean, I'm curious of both, but
Mhm.
let's do a little bit of what can you do with it, and then we can touch on what it can do.
Okay,
Like get
so
inspired people first, and then thought ideas. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so what you can currently do with it right now is you can load up DeskThing. You can download apps from within DeskThing. So there's a full app store that you can see all of the apps. They automatically update, all that fun stuff. You download an app, loads it up on its own thread, so it's isolated, and then you can switch to that on the CarThing and see this app displaying next to your computer. And so these apps that we currently have is there's like a media viewer, so you can see like your current Spotify listening. You can control, you can switch playlists, you can see the queue. All of that has been re-implemented as an app. So basically, most of the original CarThing functionality. But then it pushes further to where there's a stock market app that you can see. You can configure it in settings and add stocks and see like their current stats. There's weather that you can see like the current humidity and all of that fun stuff. There's I'm working right now on a Discord app that we can get into later because it's been a pain. But basically letting you see who's currently in the call, letting you mute, unmute, deafen, all of the call controls that you'd expect from a companion. So the idea being is now you don't need Discord open when you're in a call. You can see who's talking kind of like an overlay and control your stuff directly from the device. There's a few others. There's like timers, like a Pomo timer. There's like various other reskins of things. There's someone was making a home assistant app to like control your smart home. So lots of features. The sky's the limit. You're running a JavaScript sandbox effectively, and you can do anything under the sun from there.
And that tunnels into the host PC or phone, and then whatever that can do, which is anything, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
did you have a question?
what. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead, Alvaro.
No, I was gonna say. So we talked about what people are doing with it right now, but then you said there's also what it can do. That's a separate thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are all the apps that I've had the time to make. But recently I've been focusing a lot on making sure the desktop app is everything I would ever want it to be. So it can now, it now has, so DeskThing works as more than just the software that you download. I have made 2 node packages that you can download when you're wanting to make your own app. So I've done a lot of pouring into like the app experience. So you can boot up your own app, and you can use like import DeskThing and then DeskThing send or DeskThing on, and then all of that abstraction I do from front to back. So you say DeskThing send, and then on your front end you say DeskThing on, and you can then send data back and forth. So all of that abstraction is there. then also settings. So I have a very verbose setting set up. So if you're a third-party app and you're like, I want a volume or like a number range slider, you can configure that. You can configure the text, the range, or you can make it depend on a Boolean value. So you only want it to show up when you have this Boolean enabled. And it makes for these very dynamic but very customizable apps. So
Yeah, so
all
you
of
have
that,
just kind of widgets ready to go, it sounds like, for people to
yeah, like
create their rich user experience.
yeah, and trying to make that user experience as rich as possible. So all of this is basically directly influenced from user feedback because I'll get people who are like, I don't know how to do this. So a lot of people are complaining, Spotify is too complicated to set up. I don't know how to make a developer app. I don't know how to find API keys. And so I implemented a full task system within the app. You go to tasks. The Spotify app, when you download it, will define to DeskThing, here is the entire task object. And then DeskThing will extrapolate that and get you a step-by-step walkthrough with pictures, with settings that you can input from this task that you can drag around the DeskThing app to walk you through step by step. Here's how you set it up. And stuff like that. Like
Nice.
that's directly off of, oh, user has issue, implement solution.
Mhm.
So I feel like I've only scratched the surface on what I can do with this medium as far as third-party apps are concerned, because I've made this really rich, like user
Mhm.
experience that you can interface with,
Yeah.
and it's all like very tightly multi-threaded, so that way each app is securely in its own sandbox thread. Apps have the
Mhm.
ability to tell DeskThing, hey, can you spin up another thread on this process? And then DeskThing will be able to handle that thread and ensure that it's correctly killed or spawned or killed if it uses up too much
Mhm.
resources. All of this like backend logic that I've done is like, this can go somewhere. So as to what it can do, it's like you can do a lot with that.
Yeah. So I think so you've built all this infrastructure, all this, like, and given it to the community. Have you been surprised not only by the response by the community, but also have they created something that you just didn't expect?
So honestly, I was kind of expecting more. The community involvement here. We were think of the type of person that this is a there's two types of people that this type of project is attracting. The first type is the person who is a Spotify fangirl and loves all things Spotify, got this in the recommendation and bought it for $90, and now is wanting a simple, easy way to make it keep working. Not the most technically inclined and is scared of a terminal. Obviously, they're not going to make an app.
Yeah.
And then the second type of person is those people's relatives who then took the car thing from them, saw the hack, and then hacked it from there. The amount of stories I've gotten from that has been a lot. It's like, oh yeah, my friend had this. I took it from them, and now I'm hacking it. It's like, okay. But there hasn't been a
Mhm.
lot of people. There's been like only a small handful of people who've actually wanted to help contribute to it, to DeskThing, and
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
like making their own apps.
So mostly users, not developers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and
And
that's
do you have
been
an idea of how many people are, or how many desk things are out there now?
Um, yes and no. I have download counts, and that's what I had for a long
Mhm.
time, up until a couple months ago. Currently downloaded, I think Destling is sitting around like nearly 50, yeah, about 50,000 downloads of the server.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's not an accurate representation of the amount of people using it, because if you update, that's
Right.
obviously a second download. So it's not a good indicator. So I just recently
Yeah.
implemented more advanced statistics. So I got a Cloudflare D1 server up, and I have a secure database, whatever, to
Mhm.
send usage statistics to that are opt out if wanted. But it gets me a better picture painted of like how many people are
Yeah.
there. The issue is getting users to update, and obviously that's a struggle that everyone has. It's like, well, they're not going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But there's over a
I
thousand people who are still actively using it.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but it also sounds like mostly looking to use it, but I think what you're getting at is that, there's a lot of fertile ground left to cover in terms of bringing in more applications, more ideas, that people would be interested in putting on their device, going beyond just, like, the
Mhm.
basic, like, "Hey, I replace Spotify," um, with this other widget or app on this device so I can keep using it. Um, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
That's the
kind of what I was
feeling.
getting at. I
Yeah.
was like, I feel like there's a lot of potential here of like where you can go. Also, it would be nice to see someone make something really cool with all of the stuff I've been spending the last year on. Like that's also
Yeah.
part of the motivation here. It's like, okay, well, I've put in the hours to make this functional. It'd be neat to see that taken and then run with.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you are issuing a challenge. I don't think that's what you intended to say when you came here, but it
Sure.
feels like
Yeah,
it feels
we'll
like
go with that.
Please, people,
it
make
almost feels like
something.
there is that challenge. Like, yeah, like put that on the website. Yo, we want to see what you guys have.
Someone is going to hook up Ghidra to it.
Yes.
So you can
Wouldn't be
look at
surprised.
this assembly and scroll through it.
Mhm.
That would be
Which
hilarious.
funny
Yeah.
thing, I don't think we know how they did this. Years ago, someone already got Doom working on it.
Oh,
Of
of
course.
Because of
course.
course they did.
Of course.
Yeah, and that was before
That's
we
the
had
first
any
thing
of our
anyone does.
fancy hacks. Like that was way early on. We're like,
This
how did
mysterious
you?
person.
It's probably
Mhm.
yeah,
Probably the first
probably
person. They're like,
exactly the
all right,
same people who like drop one of the 2 or 3 people that just showed up, dropped in and like dipped on out. They kept pushing
What,
yeah.
you guys forward.
one thing we like to ask, and I'm curious, is what have been useful tools that you've used during the whole process of discovering, developing, reverse engineering? What kind of tools have been useful in this project?
Mhm.
Tools. I mean, Zadig was coming in clutch, but that wasn't really a development tool. That was more just trying to make it work. I didn't
Loading the right
use.
driver, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use a
I mean,
ton of
software tools are
tools.
tools.
Sounds like
Yeah, I
Discord
suppose.
was also very useful.
Oh, okay. Discord is very useful. That was the way that we were communicating. We could say that ADB was a tool that we were using. I mean, we're still using it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's technically a tool. As far as
I
physical
think that
tools,
was the gap. Yeah.
yeah,
I feel
ADB
like that
was
was
the
the
gap
entry point.
that got us to the
Yeah.
big hacks.
The exploit.
Yeah.
Honestly, a good USB cable was the biggest thing that probably helped me.
Oh,
I skipped a whole section of why this worked at all. So we
Oh,
weren't
okay.
supposed to be able to get into this device. And I hinted at this
No, of
earlier
course.
of people were having unknown issues with it. Come to find out through like
yes.
taking it apart or looking through the code, there is a pin or an e-fuse on this device that was supposed to be blown, and it doesn't look like it was. So we got
Yeah.
lucky. So
Yeah.
Spotify, somewhere along the lines, the data pin wasn't blown, so it wasn't ever meant to be able to be
Uh-huh.
accessed. And then
I
the
have
data line
theories.
itself. Okay, I'd love to hear them in
Yeah.
just a sec.
Yeah, yeah.
The data line itself is highly susceptible to interference of any kind, any type of power fluctuation at all, which AMD is notorious for on their USB protocols or their USB
Especially
connection.
Ah.
USB 3. USB
Yes,
3
yeah, and it's
ports are
USB
nasty.
3.
Yeah.
Um,
So if you
and so
have
that's what
so
was
I'm
causing the
assuming,
issues.
three-phase power is probably causing it problems. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yep.
Power
So we,
integrity. Yeah, because why would they spend time designing power integrity if it's or data integrity if they're not going to be
It's
using
in
it
the
except for the
car.
factory?
yeah.
No,
Or
in the
in the
car's just
car.
power.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not three-phase power.
No. But it's only when you're using the data pins. Like if it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
power, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Yes.
So yeah,
But
that's
if
why
they
we
were
had
never
all of those
intending on it ever
instability.
being in the house. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes sense.
So theoretically, maybe they cheaped out. They're like, "Oh, it's only gonna be used in the car." And then the other thing, my theory on the fuses is they're like, "Okay, don't blow the fuse yet. Let's just make sure everything's good in case something happens and we need to recall them, and then we can refurbish and get them out there." And they were waiting for when things got to a steady state. I don't know how many years were they out in the
2?
field? Like 3? I
I
think it was
think it
3
was
or
two
4
three.
before.
Yeah, 2,
Yeah.
3.
So
Yeah.
they were like, "Okay, let's just get to a certain point, just make sure everything's good, and then we'll start blowing the fuses out of the factory," and it just never happened, and so they just up and forgot, like, it
Yeah,
just
that could
wasn't
be.
worth their time to change the manufacturing, like, I don't think of Spotify as a top hardware manufacturer, we'll just say.
So
Was this their only hardware product?
so the
Yeah, they
car thing
make
is funny
glasses.
based on what it did to Spotify. Spotify made the car thing, and when they backed out, they apparently backed out of making the CarThing so hard that they changed their like patent and trademark and their like description and removed any mention of hardware. They backed out and they said no more
Oh
ever.
shit.
Yeah, they said,
Oh,
we are a
that's
software
just
company.
software people.
FAFO.
That is
They fucked around with
that
hardware.
sounds like
They
Silicon
found
Valley
out.
software. Like there's like
Yes.
no, and the rest of us in hardware are just like, is this why we can't get funding?
It's hard. Yeah, hardware is hard. Now
Yeah.
Spotify knows too.
Yep.
What about independent of CarThing? What are some of your favorite tools? Or what is your favorite tool? Just in general, day to day, what do you use the most? That's not Trello. Now we know.
No.
Yeah, it's not Trello anymore. VS Code is just my go-to editor.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with that. That's probably what I spend the most time in, like that and a terminal are like the two things that I hold to. I use some like in-editor AI. I mean, we talked about this for a bit. My experience with DeskThing is DeskThing has gotten big enough that it can't actually help in any meaningful way. It can repeat my change in a way that like a control find couldn't, and it could like template out stores in a way that like can't otherwise be done. But the moment it tries like to do infrastructure, it's like, actually, I think it'd be good to like re-architect your entire app. It's like, no, please don't.
In the wrong way.
Right, in the worst possible way. But
let's
mostly
abstract
just
it all 10 times.
I feel like we're transitioning to that other thing that we put on the stack.
yeah. I mean, I'm down to transition off of this. But yeah, tooling wise, I didn't use that many overall, and I think my favorite is just down with the code with VS Code and like the terminal and just getting stuff to work.
Yeah.
Before we tangentiate more,
Tangentiate?
where can people find DeskThing?
Yeah.
Like DeskThing the software, you can find it at deskthing.app. You can just search that in, or you could just Google DeskThing, and I believe I am the first, second, third, and fourth result.
Hopefully.
For now,
yeah, and the first result is going to be an AI. It's going to be an AI
that's fair.
answer.
And also that is
Google
DeskThing
seems
with no
intent on
space.
messing that up.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That is DeskThing no space. It's just one word, DeskThing.
It's
that
your
is where
DeskThing, our desk, Reddit DeskThing.
Small tiny note. Remember how I said it was $90 to $30? Guess how much it went up to secondhand when it got barely big? Just
Hundreds.
Throw a number out there.
150. 150.
There was an auction on eBay that had 12 bids, and it was at $500, and it was one of the only ones you could find.
What?
Holy!
I just paid 50 for one.
Yeah. Hundreds for a bit, and that lasted for months. I think like March was when they started going back down, but it was like months of you couldn't find one below $150, $200.
Yeah, I just while we were recording, just bought one for $50. So hopefully it arrives. Okay. We'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, they're mostly 100 on eBay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess that tells me like I can't afford that right now, but
you say that. I got two of mine for free. If you just get that time machine, go back in time before there was DeskThing.
Yes.
And someone was like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of the
sports almanac." And bring a copy of the sports almanac.
And well, I do know a few friends who, when they went down to $30, bought up as many as they could and got friends to buy for them. So, Jen, you and I probably know several people that have some stored away.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
I haven't heard that side of the story yet.
Oh, I don't think that's that geeks are hoarders. You didn't hear about that. Okay. You're very early in your career yet.
I just remember
people have a sealed one right there. If you can see that, it's
nice.
Someone
because they would only ship to the US, I think, right? For the final sales, maybe.
Yeah.
It was people in Europe that were like, "Hey, I'll pay for it. Can I ship it to your place?" That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so audience, as we were getting ready to have a discussion, we started talking about AI. I don't remember how that ended up happening.
There's 100 ways.
We discussed AI.
There's 100 ways. But apparently, so we're just going to tack this awkwardly on. I don't remember how we even ended up with this. I mean, between like the last couple of days of like people letting their AI push directly to production and deleting like databases, or the fact that you can't right now, hiring people is hard because there's scammy AI bots or candidates that strictly can't code because they're just using
Oh,
AI.
that's right. We were talking about hiring before we started recording, and how finding a job or applying for a job is a nightmare, but also as hiring managers, it's a nightmare to screen candidates. And Nathan, I don't know if you want to talk, but like you're currently in that world.
Oh yeah, deep in it. I mean, just graduated college, and probably one of the worst times to try to get a software something. So I've been looking for jobs, and the biggest thing I've been running into is you look on Indeed and this job gets posted, and it's a remote job. It's like, oh, this looks pretty good. By the time you refresh the page, there's like 250 applicants. It's like, what? Where did they come from?
AI.
And so it's running into like fighting. Yes, AI. So it's running into like, how do I stand out from these 400 people who probably don't know how to code? And how do I know that the job's even a job? Because there's companies that will then push jobs to make it look like they're growing, and then be like, actually, we're not looking to fill this position. We just wanted it. So finding a job that's a real job that's like,
there's an H-1B visa.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. If anyone's listening and needs to hire a talented software engineer,
clearly
send us an email and we'll connect you. Or you can find them online. Yes.
Yeah, I would say you've already done your master's and PhD in terms of like going beyond
and WebUSB and
launching a product in a high pressure situation.
You've done tech support. You've done like everything.
Packaging for third party developers and clients to like go ahead and create their own stuff. Like there are people who go their entire careers and never done any of that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna say, hey,
also he's been part of 18. He's also been part of 18 clubs,
and that's what really matters here.
Somehow,
yes,
yeah, that's really what matters here.
That's pulling its weight. Like DeskThing aside, like those clubs. Yes.
That's why I asked, because I'm like, I'm not trying not to be sarcastic, but I'm like, okay, maybe if you were in a fraternity, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think any of the clubs ever helped.
No, and I wasn't expecting them to. I didn't join them to like further my career, is to just get experience personally of like, okay, what's that process? But yeah, I mean, I'm open to work like anywhere in the US if like my information is out there.
Although I'm just going to say aside, okay, did you guys know, were you guys staying in the main hotel for Teardown?
Yeah.
No, I was not.
Okay, so at the DoubleTree, so that was the official one, but also you get a warm cookie, which is the other good reason to stay, which is why I like it. For whatever reason, they were having a conference there, and it looked like it was a big sorority conference.
Yeah, they were pretty loud.
It was an entire conference dedicated to sorority. So
talk about tangents. We're getting to the end. We should say, where can people find you online if you want to be found?
I'm linked on DeskThing, and then also I like socials. I don't really have any public personal socials right now, but I have it up on LinkedIn. I mean, my most social media thing I have is the DeskThing YouTube channel, which isn't really social media. But yeah,
we're good.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I have the website. It's riprod.com, and then also LinkedIn, just Nathan Emerick, and I should show up. The only one with DeskThing in the description.
Are in the show notes.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, they will be in the show notes. They're not now, but when I type up the show notes, they will be there. And also, we're going to link to these things, and you have a really great timeline of all the things that happened for DeskThing in case we missed anything. Also on the website that you've shared with us. And I will also say it's a very nice website. I am terrible at UI stuff, but that's a really nice site.
Yeah, I had a little bit of help early on.
Now I feel like I need to go.
Oh, okay. I had a little bit of help early on. They showed me the ropes, and then I kind of just took that and ran. It was like, oh, that's like, you can actually care about like website design and make it look nice. That's really cool.
I've yet to learn that.
What are you talking about? There's HTML. That's all you need to know. That and the blink tag.
And CSS. No. I did know about, what was the Tailwind you mentioned?
Yeah.
Tailwind?
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because the Tailwind CSS CEO or lead or whatever was on a podcast, and that's the only reason I know.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So speaking of web, if there's any web developers who are listening, the nightmare that I've had to deal with is the CarThing is running on an old version of Chrome. It's running on Chrome 69 when we're current, like modern versions like Chrome 180. We don't have the canvas element. We don't have blur. We don't have CSS gap. Like we are missing like fundamental web. So I feel like I've been
you're in
coding...
the Stone Age of Chrome.
There's a porting project.
We've tried. We're still trying to port Chrome. We ended up getting NixOS working, but because of the Amlogic drivers, the graphics drivers for I forget what the graphics is, we can't compile those to 32-bit. They can only go to 64, and they're closed source, and they're all behind lock and key. So we don't have GPU acceleration.
I feel like there are a number of new Zooglers that may have done.
So I just looked it up for reference. Chrome 69, September 2018. So it's been a few years.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed?
Well, we didn't go too far into AI if we wanted to touch that, but yeah, I think overall...
I think we're running out of time. I mean, don't worry, the internet will take care of that.
We hear enough about it these days.
Yes, just open up any news platform and you'll see more than you would ever wish to. But yeah, I think that's everything that I have.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay. No, I'd say that the subreddit for DeskThing also has a lot of cool demo stuff.
Cool.
Yes.
You probably posted some of that, but yeah, I'm just scrolling through it and it's like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. Flappy Bird.
Oh, I made that for Teardown. I made the entire app in a day.
Nice.
It had like Flappy Bird, it had Pong, it had you could play games between the devices if you had two. So Pong would go like between the two. Yeah, that was made on a Saturday, and Teardown was on like I forget what day it started on, but yeah, it was like a couple
Friday,
days before.
Saturday, Sunday, yeah.
I also recoded the entire client, so the entire app that goes onto the CarThing, I recoded that Friday. So not even a week before Teardown.
Wow, I'm so impressed. What am I doing with my life? Where am I?
Open source. Join. Help.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have time for that.
And I assume the Discord's linked on the DeskThing app website.
Yes. Yeah. It's everything should be linked. If you go to Reddit, they have all the links there too. And then the DeskThing app has all the links, and then the YouTube has all the links. So
to buy you a coffee.
Yes. Yeah. If anyone wants to help donate to this, I mean, shameless plug.
Okay. Are there any other links? Any other more links? Places people can find you or not find you that you want to drop right now? Mixtape.
I think that is all of the relevant places. I try to update them all universally. So like if you find me on Blue Sky, which I am on Blue Sky, you'll get similar stuff that I post.
That's social media. Okay.
DeskThing is on Blue Sky. It's just the DeskThing profile.
Okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't count as social if it's for a company.
Okay.
It's for work.
Fair enough. Okay. Then we're going to close out the show. Alvaro, if you want to be found, where can people find you?
Always alvarop.com. And yeah, that just find me from there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest. I'm also on Blue Sky and wherever. I guess technically my non-technical work is on LinkedIn, whatever. If you have questions, comments, or whatever, you can find us on not Twitter anymore. You can find us on Blue Sky and Mastodon. under unnamed _show. You can still find us on unnamed RE. We don't have a Patreon anymore. But we're very appreciative. Their contributions are what enable us to keep doing the show and having the website and everything keep going for the foreseeable future. And we still ask for reviews on podcast apps like Spotify or iTunes or wherever. I guess that's it. Are we done? Can we go?
I think so. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been a blast.